Welcome back to Chattering Included, where puns are sold separately, and I, Bansha, your host, was sick last week, and without a voice, so recording was just a little difficult. As such, we didn't put out a video. This week, we are looking over a speed paint of Lila Rossi from the Miraculous Ladybug series, from when she was akumatized into Hoaxer. I drew this back in the beginning of the year, when the episode first dropped. I don't even think it was in English yet, and I watched it. And because the episodes, when aired internationally, are out of order, some of the story elements didn't quite make sense, but honestly, I didn't feel bad about that because it let me watch the episode with my base knowledge of the other seasons and what had happened so far, and really let me focus on Lila as a character. For those who don't know, Miraculous is a kids' TV show that focuses on superheroes Ladybug and Cat Noir, who fight civilians turned monsters in order to get to the main villain, Hawkmoth. A side plot to the entire show is a love square between our two main heroes. Outside of their costumes, Marinette is in love with Adrien for the first few seasons, but eventually starts to catch some feelings for Cat Noir, whereas Adrien, inside his costume and outside of his costume, is in love with Ladybug, and those feelings eventually shift later until he sees that he is also, or more so, in love with Marinette, switching just in time for their feelings to not quite line up. And the show is pretty clear at showing that either these two won't get together by the end of it, or that it will have to be the right time for them to get together to avoid the literal end of the world, and lots of people are upset with that. That's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about the character Lila Rossi. Partway through the series, we get introduced to Lila, who seems like she's going to be a one-off villain from the get-go. She comes into the episode lying about being a superhero, like Ladybug and Cat Noir, to Adrien in order to get him to like her, maybe even date her. But upon seeing this, mostly in part to her jealousy, Marinette comes up as Ladybug and reveals the truth and tells Lila off in front of Adrien, which was not the best course of action. Lila then becomes one of the victims of Hawkmoth, who is a supervillain with the power to give other people superpowers. He grants Lila the persona of the superhero she was trying to convince Adrien that she was, and uses it to try to capture Ladybug and Cat Noir. Obviously, Ladybug and Cat Noir save the day, it doesn't happen, but Lila kind of pledges to hate Ladybug forever. She comes back a couple times just to make trouble for Marinette, who has been very clear that she does not like Lila because Lila lies about literally anything she can, even though everyone else seems to be absolutely bewitched by Lila, except for Adrien, who you see in some short scenes. In another episode, it's revealed that Lila has convinced her class and school that she is overseas and checking into her assignments online. But really, she's just at home. And on the flip side, she has convinced her mother that the school is unsafe because of all the attacks from Hawkmoth and is closed. From there, you have an episode where she comes back to the school and claims Marinette pushed her down the stairs and caused actual bodily harm to her, almost getting Marinette expelled. Lila is written to be an absolute charmer to the person that she is talking to, the people she is interacting with in the show. But as the audience, we get to see that she is written in a way to be hated. Everyone kind of knows this kind of person who lies and manipulates people to get what they want. But the more the episodes progress, the more I find myself just kind of in awe of her. As the episodes she started to become more frequent, Lila became worse and worse. It eventually comes out that she has 3 different women convinced that they are her mother, and she assumes a different identity and life with each of them. She has an entire other school life where she has short hair and is called Cerise and is the beloved class representative. She lied her way into getting brand deals with Adrien's famous fashion designing father, and even lied and collected information to make herself valuable to Hawkmoth in hopes to become permanent supervillain so that she can take down Ladybug once and for all because, rivalry. She's her very own best friend, a trio of people at all times, with 3 times the manipulation to everyone she meets. Marinette's parents love her. And most of the people in the series do seem to genuinely believe her in everything she says, no matter how outlandish. It comes back to no matter how stupid or bizarre it sounds, if you say it confidently enough, and with the air that somebody else would be wrong if they went against you saying it, people are going to believe it's true. By the end of the season, we stopped seeing her in houses, but instead in like a sewer or an underground tunnel. And she's very clearly setting up a plan. My respect for her as a character hit the fan when seeing Hoaxer out of order. Lila, unlike Hawkmoth, knows how to play a long game. Through the entire series, Hawkmoth has been bumbling into one failure or another for several seasons. Lila demonstrates that she can play the long game with every interaction. She grows more patient, plans more fail-safes if a plan doesn't go the way that she wanted it to. She's so genuinely unbothered when her entire class catches her admitting to lying and maliciously using people that she just calmly walks out and throws a smile over her shoulder and goes on about her day. She sees herself as the heroine and the villain in every story she has ever been a part of. Lila becomes akumatized again, creating the persona of Hoaxer, in order to openly track Ladybug and Cat Noir for Hawkmoth using these special rings that everyone has. Think of the rings like an Apple Watch but for the finger, and literally everyone has one. She shows up in the ring, puts people under her spell, and they do what she says, which is mostly tracking Ladybug and Cat Noir, which is basically just a big distraction. Like magician's sleight of hand. If she's doing something really flashy here, she doesn't want you to see what she's doing over here. And what she's doing over here is having one person that she believes is valuable enough, hypnotizing them into sending her photographic evidence of everything she needs for her new plan to succeed. It's important to note that the way Hawkmoth is able to give people these superpowers is by akumatizing them. He sends out a little black butterfly by sensing aggressively negative emotions, and once it touches its target, it gives Hawkmoth some access to the person in order for them to be able to accept a deal of superpowers in exchange for tracking down Ladybug and Cat Noir and stealing the things that give them their superpowers. If the object that the butterfly burrows into is destroyed while they are akumatized, Ladybug is able to capture and purify the butterfly, and then clean up any damage to the city. But in Hoaxer, because Lila wasn't actually feeling as aggressively negatively, when she was akumatized, she could just kind of reject it whenever she wanted. So she waited patiently for her chance, cast out the Akuma before Ladybug could fix the city, and just fixed everything herself, which left her with her photographic evidence that she could use whenever she pleased. And I liked that. It was especially good coming from a kid's show that can have really simple, kind of mindless episodes sometimes. Like, watching it, I was actually surprised that this was the route it took. Every time it bounced back to the alternative scheme that Lila had, I was just in awe. Maybe if I were watching it in order and not missing little nuanced things here and there from not speaking the language it debuted in, I could have seen it coming, but I didn't. I don't think that would have changed my opinion. Lila, as a hated character, is slowly becoming one of my favorites, and I can't wait to see if the next season will have a big tone shift with her new, more overarching villain plotline. If any of you guys like Miraculous, I would love to know if you have any favorite characters or any favorite episodes, favorite little moments. Or if you also had a character that was an underdog that you didn't think was going to be one of your favorites, but slowly is climbing the ranks in your brain, like Lila is for me. I think that's going to do it for us today. This is the last of the speed paints that I worked on at the beginning of the year, so anything from here on out will be drawn from August forward, with the exception of one video that I'm not sure if I'm going to use or not, due to the fact that I can't find this file with the sketching process. Like, it kind of just jumps into me lining or coloring. It was on my old computer, so when it went down, all of the files were on my backup hard drive, and they're just in disarray. So I may find the sketch and use the video, I may not. Don't look at it too closely. At any rate, please remember to check out the channel if you like what you see or hear. Kindly comment or subscribe or like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.